Welcome to Mediumship Sparks, where we connect more deeply with spirit and source and follow the sparks of insight and inspiration that bring us greater awareness, healing, and just more flow into our lives. I'm Noelle Dean, intuitive medium, licensed therapist, and your host. A quick note before we begin: this podcast is for educational purposes only and provides general information. It is not medical or psychological advice and is not a substitute for care from a licensed health professional. I'm so grateful we get to step into this together. Let's dig in. Welcome to Mediumship Sparks, Claudine. It's really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're going to remember this, but probably 5 or 6 years ago, we were in a class and we had to do a little practice reading on each other.
Wow, I don't think I do, only because I was so nervous. I think at the time I was in between, am I a medium? I have to prove myself. And I really felt this, I need to prove myself. So I was just nervous all the time. And in awe, I was like, what? I'm talking to a stuck wall?
Yeah, I had to get over that part too. But I was blown away by you. I was very intimidated. You did such a good reading, and I was new to actual mediumship. You were so clear, and it was amazing. It's surprising to hear how nervous you were, because my impression was you really seemed in your element. And look, you're a beautiful young woman and you're quite a bit younger than I am, but you have a baby face. So you look 18 and you're so good. And I'm like, shit, what am I doing with my life?
I never grew up. That's the trick. Mediumship is something that I've just known I could do. And I didn't realize I was doing it all my life. And it's funny because I took the mediumship courses. Am I doing the right thing? Am I on my right path? Why the hell am I doing this? How come I'm getting paid for this? All these thoughts coming to my mind. And then we come into these little synchronicities and it's, yes, I'm on my right path.
I want to stick with this for just a moment. I love that you just said that. This path of mediumship, for me, it came on the tail end of dealing with breast cancer and getting treatment and having my brain erased and not being able to do the work that I was doing. This path feels a little bit like feeling your way in the dark. And the only thing that feels super real is what feels right in your body, in your gut, in your intuition. But that's it. Right there is the crux of the entire work. You were nervous and you were like, what the hell am I doing? And what came out of your mouth was beautiful and profound, and I related to it. That's probably still how you're working now, although you have a lot more confidence. You've taken more courses. You've done lots and lots of readings. That feels like the foundation of all of this for all of us.
Following your heart and knowing that you're doing it. You're on your right path. Self-trust, self-belief. It is so important. And it catapults you, because you can get all the signs and messages and not see them because you're not paying attention. You're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the future. You don't believe it. You're like, no, that's all in my head. How many hummingbirds have to hit you over the head before you realize that's your spirit, right? That is a sign from spirit. And I say it lightly, but I also say it so truthfully that we are told that it's all fake by loved ones, by our parents. We're saying it's all in your head, it's make believe, that's not real. They're saying it out of love, but it's so detrimental to our development as sensitive women and people in general.
Absolutely. If we weren't socialized to believe that when people are, quote, dead, they're gone, or they're off in heaven somewhere and untouchable, and we only hope they're okay and we worry. And this is a belief. I'm not saying that they're wrong and we're right. I believe as firmly, and you believe as firmly, as every other person who has a strong religious belief believes in their beliefs. So there's no right or wrong. There's what feels true in our own essence.
That was a saying that angels are jealous that humans have choice. They have choice in what to believe in. Isn't that fascinating?
I've never heard that.
Maybe it's in my brain.
It still counts, Claudine. It still counts. I'm listening.
I do believe that we have the power of choice. And I want to go to Inanna. Do you know Inanna? She is known as the goddess of heaven and earth, and she's ancient and Sumerian. She's one of the first written goddesses. She chose to become queen. She crowned herself. She claimed her queendom, and she was gifted all these things by tuning into her own inner voice, her intuition. I love Inanna's journey, claiming our queendom.
I don't know if you're going to relate to this, but it feels a bit related to what you're saying. I was talking to a medium, and she was talking about when she picks something up and she shares it, or she picks something up and she knows it's right. It's like a thrill on the inside, but not in the way that earthly things are. It felt different to her, something magical and deep, not crowning herself, but embracing those gifts in a way that you're taught not to. And like, no, I'm not giving them back. I'm not giving them up.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. We're taught not to. We're
Yeah.
taught to be humble or to give and not receive. Again, by loving parents, or maybe not so loving, depending on your situation. But
Yeah.
I do believe that people teach from what they're taught. So it's just the behavior.
Yeah.
That lessens our power.
Yeah. And not that anybody was trying necessarily to hurt us. That's just what we're taught, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
when I look back now from when I was younger, I'm sure I would have been completely freaked out to have had gifts really show themselves when I was young. But the feeling of being connected, have good boundaries, but when we remove the barriers to that,
Yeah.
it sounds silly to say it this way, but the only word in my head now is otherworldly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherworldly. Otherworldly, but accessible to us.
Yeah. It's like it's out there and then it's right here.
Yeah, like far but close. I think that's the beauty of mediumship is it feels like you're tuning into somebody somewhere out there. But yeah, our energy is always connected. It's always tapped in together. Their energy, our energy, that part doesn't die. Just the body. The body is just like our vehicle. We can lose it and get another one. So we don't have to be too attached to it. Just take good care of it. Like your car, you want to put oil in it, you want to get gas.
Fair analogy.
Brake pads, steering wheel.
Also, how you just described it also can eliminate the fear of death, because you're like, oh, you mean I'm going to be floating around, going where I want to, supporting the people that I love, learning things, having different experiences. I'm not going to be limited by this or my fears or my anxieties or my insecurities. I don't have that fear. How about you?
I trained as a death doula,
Oh,
and it opened my eyes to death in a physical sense because before training as a death doula, I was fascinated with communicating with spirit. So I never really felt scared as much as I was sad when death happened. It's awful. It's very heartbreaking and it haunts the physical people.
yeah.
More than it does those who have died because they have evolved like a Pokemon. They're living their evolution of their soul. Training as death doula, I become more empathic of the pain of death, seeing how it affects them. Now I do feel the sadness deeper. I see death as a scar that we wear. And when we eventually die, we die with beautiful scars of our dead loved ones. And with each scar, it doesn't get easier. We remember them in a different way. Our memories get deeper. Our love gets stronger for them. But there's always going to be that sadness, and you can never get over a death.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little more macabre. But
No, that's good. Yeah.
I'm not scared of it personally, but I am empathetic towards it. As we're getting older, we see more death. That's why I'm like such a big advocate of no regrets, right? Live your life. And that's a beautiful thing about death doula work is if somebody is dying, we can help them. We can help them write those letters, do those last errands, or feel like when they leave, they can leave okay.
Yeah. Complete with what they came here for.
It's fascinating how ghost stories are tied with unresolved death. Oh, you did so and so, and I'm haunting you for 1,000 years because my soul is still tormented. I think of that. The true haunt, that soul that never rested. So let's fix that. Let's let go of our loose ends before we die.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And come back and help the people that are still here heal from our relationship if we can. That's another thing I really do love about mediumship. And I've certainly had my own journey with my sister who passed not quite 2 years ago. We have a better relationship now than we ever had when she was still walking around. And I'm so happy about that.
I would love to hear more. That'd be such a beautiful thing, because the bond of a sister, I have a sister, is so strong. It's so special. And does she visit you? Do you feel her or get like messages from her, like through insects, animal signs?
I haven't checked with her. Just recently, I started hearing the commercial jingles for commercials that I would have heard from my childhood.
I love that.
Yeah, that's got to be her.
Yeah.
And I don't drive a whole lot but when I drive and I think of her, I put on some 80s music. And if it's good music, I just have a sense of her being there with me. And up until recently, every time I'm doing a podcast episode, because I do a lot of them, I'm the only physical one there. And she and our grandmother always show up. And
I love that.
my grandmother's been a huge support, and another person who lives very differently on the other side than how they lived when they were here. She wouldn't have been somebody I would have gone to for support, but she has shown up for me hundreds of times in this way. I'm really grateful for that. It's nice when it's the two of them together. When I rebooted my podcast last August, I did a 3-part series with my sister, and she shared some really beautiful things just for her to be humble and honest enough to own her side of stuff was hugely healing. She really worked to heal from our dynamic and her own issues, because she had some mental health issues when she was here. She worked very hard to heal that stuff quickly so that she could be a part of what I'm doing, because she was also a believer of these things. I just don't think she did anything really with it, but she probably would have loved to have been a part of it. And now she is, which is really cool. Yeah.
Like going back to beliefs, our beliefs evolve as well. Once we lose the physical tether of the body, we're just like, oh my God, wow, life is fun. Why didn't I live more? Right? Like,
yeah,
it really turns into perspective the restraints that we have with our thoughts, how our thoughts imprison us, or our beliefs.
both. Yeah.
I just think of that tarot card, the devil. Do you know tarot?
Not really.
It's got this angry looking devil, usually, generically. It'll be a devil, and there'll be a man and a woman, and they're cuffed to him in chains. Chains is the word. And they look miserable, and they're naked. There's a devil. But if you see it closely, the chains are loose. So it just comes to show we imprison ourselves with our thoughts. So the devil card isn't really a scary card. It's more like so what's holding you back? What's causing these thoughts? The retrospective card, as all tarot cards are. I love tarot. I think it's a beautiful way to illustrate intuition.
Oh, that's a nice way to say it.
Yeah, they're just like pictures, and then you read into it's like the tests where they show you blobs.
Rorschach.
Like,
yeah.
Rorschach, thank you. They're like, what do you see in this image? This is exactly what tarot is. What do you see? Because you can read any card. They probably have Hello Kitty tarot or any kind of tarot. It's your own intuition reading it.
Yeah. It sounds like you have different tools that you use.
I love tarot. I feel like when I first started on Instagram, coming out as an intuitive person, first it was my art. I painted all these goddesses. I love painting goddesses. I have 3 boys. They're like, Mom, why are you always painting naked women? I'm like, painting naked goddesses. Anyways, I digress. So these goddesses evolved into tarot, because tarot is such a beautiful way to go. Let me read you. Let me help you understand clearer. I use tarot to go deeper into problems, but I started noticing everyone's problems were all the same. They're all like, why doesn't he like me? Does he like me? And I'm like, dude, you're paying me money to read about him? What? So why are you not asking me about you? This is like you're giving your money away. So every freaking tarot session would turn into a lecture. It's not about him. It's about you. And then I went into mediumship, and I thought, okay, mediumship. Yeah, I can do mediumship. And mediumship turned into a very similar thing. What do my guides want me to know? I'm like, no, that's not how it works. We don't want them to tell us. We want guidance. We make the choice. They support. So that started frustrating me. So now I evolved into this, okay, we got to go into self-trust here. Believe and trust yourself, so that tarot, mediumship, any other form of divination you'd like to use or not makes sense and doesn't come from an outside source. It comes from you.
I'm feeling very aware that I also, because self-trust has been such a huge issue in my life, that I'm feeling aware now in this chapter to stop asking, what do you guys think I should do? What do you guys think I should do? And bring it back to myself, which is very scary because I have effed up a lot of things in my life. This could also be a beautiful justification for continuing to ask them what I should do. I'm under the impression, but my spiritual team and myself, we all signed up to get a few things done. I want to know what those things are that everybody is hanging around for, wanting to participate in.
Yeah, there's ways to ask it so you don't give away power, right? These are options I'm looking into. Or to go this path, how does that look? So to forecast makes sense. That way you can make a good decision based on which outcome you prefer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then asking for your team to be like, okay, I made this choice. Are you coming? You got my back or not? Let me, let's do it together.
That is a different way of looking at it. Yeah.
Sorry, I just get so annoyed. And I am somebody who came from abuse. I was abused by my stepfather for 12 years. I had the self-trust thing is, I am speaking from experience because this has been what was weighing on my life the whole time. And I still struggle with it. I'm not perfect at it, but I strive to tap into, trust what's coming through. And I'm circling back to the mediumship story in the beginning. When I took Samantha and Denise's class, I was doing really well in mediumship. I was like, ma'am, I think I took all 3 back to back. They were like, oh, that's intensive. You don't have to do that. But I realized it's because I was trusting what was coming through. And I've been working so much on trusting the signs in myself. That was what helped me. And I feel like that is still what helps me. Now with Tony, I'm doing psychic investigation, which is freaking hard. Sometimes they'll just give us a picture of somebody's eyeballs. And you'd be like, what can you get from this picture? I'm like, oh my gosh. So if you do not trust what comes through, you're going to second guess everything. So self-trust is so important for me. I feel like that's foundation. And once you get that, everything is like easy.
I agree. Yeah.
It's hard though. It's the hardest one.
When I think of the fraud complex, all these ways that we can sabotage ourselves by second guessing, who am I to think that anybody would connect with me, or there's nothing special about me to do this, or I wasn't born this way, I didn't have this experience when I was a kid. There's a lot of ways that people can discount themselves. Self-trust is something I've been focusing on in the podcast, trying to talk more about it to support other people, to hear something that's going to help something click differently than what they're already thinking.
I love drag queens so much. When I was a little girl, I saw RuPaul in the 80s or 90s, and I wanted to be her. When I found out she was a man, I was like, what? How can a man be so beautiful? So I've loved drag my entire life. I've watched Drag Race since season 1. I'm an avid fan. And RuPaul always says that we have an inner saboteur, right? That's our own inner doubt. And we don't have to pay her any attention. And she always closes each show with, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell can you love anybody else? Can I get an amen? RuPaul being in my life energetically has really helped that self-trust. And I'm not joking. Look, this is how much I love her. She's on my bookshelf. This handsome man. I love Ru.
But what you're also speaking about is how universal it is.
Yes.
To walk through that, on that path and walk through that. It's occurring to me like a coming of age as we get older. We learn to care less about other people's opinions because we kind of embrace who we are better because we know who we are deeper and stronger. But that's still different than self-trust. That's more like self-confidence and being less self-conscious. What you're talking about is it's just a distinct life lesson.
As you were speaking, I was thinking our crone era, right? We have the mother, we have the maiden, crone. Don't skip the sorceress. So we go from this nurture to this knowing to the confidence piece at the end. It's different than the self-trust. So
Yeah.
maybe that self-trust piece is that sorceress stage where we're in between.
You're saying about your readings, being frustrated because you could hear people continuing to turn over their power. No, tell me about this man. I remember in class you were saying how you are really enjoying doing fairy readings, was it?
I am a fairy.
Okay. You actually look like one, honestly. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that.
I'm a fairy energetically in the
Okay.
sense that I want to play all day and eat and drink and be merry. I love all the earthly pleasures. I'm an earth being. I want to be earthy and I want to do all the earthy things. And I don't care if this hamburger has MSG or whatever bad stuff you say it is. I'm still going to enjoy it because my body is very strong. So I'm that mentality.
Okay.
And I do believe in the Fae. And I really believe that the Fae are here. I call them fairies, but they're actually just earth energies. And I'm so in tune with them. I believe that our own earth, our own Gaia, our own mother is literally mother. And she's a Fae in her own right. And we work off of each other. We're all energies that this space that we can get along. I feel like fairies are very reasonable. Why is it that aliens are more believable than earth energies that we've been writing about for centuries? They're in books. They're even in the freaking Bible. We have giants. We can have fairies.
Nobody's dissing fairies here.
I feel like, so before I was Mediumship Journey, which is what my branding is now, I was the Death Fairy. And before the Death Fairy, I was Dragon Fae. So fairy has been very ingrained in my energy.
And what is like it? So do you do fairy readings?
No, I don't. I am in tune with them. So if they come through, I'll be like, oh, you have a lot of earth energies around you. I just see them more and I feel them around. And I don't have a green thumb, but I still am able to work with them, if that makes sense. And I feel them. And that's one of my guides. Strong guides are fairy guides. I feel like a reading is a reading, and we can label it an angel reading, or spirit reading, or fairy reading, or a tarot reading, but it's coming from our intuition, our inspiration, get it? Our highest spirit, our highest self, essentially, all these, whatever you call them. So it's just, we see blah, 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 and translate it, and it comes out as words.
Gotcha. I hear you about we all relate differently to different maybe types of beings. There are times I feel pretty in touch with angels.
Angels just have a different frequency, don't you think? You just know it's an angel and you know it's a guide. You know it's fairy. It's fascinating how all these energies have their own essence. I feel like angel energy is pure healing.
With some snarkiness.
Oh, you got some snarky angels? I haven't encountered those. Please tell me more.
I was sharing a story recently about an angel, Vinji. It's been a few years. I get a visual where she's doing the healing. I'm dressed up with a coconut bra and a grass skirt, and I'm playing a ukulele and singing while she's doing the healing.
That is so fun. Very energy.
How I experience angels and guides are very different. Some are just silent, but you can see them. And then others have a lot of personality, very different than the others. I would have thought I was ridiculous if I heard myself say this even 4 years ago.
And that's the hard part about talking openly about what we do, speaking about it so nonchalantly, and people being like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, I bet you do, but you dismiss it. We're so scared of what other people say. I still am. And social media does not help that. I have a fun angel story.
Please.
When I was first learning about who my guides are, and I was meditating, and I was like, gotta learn who my guides are. I think I picked up a book like Ask Your Angels or something like that. I really wanted to meet my spirit guide. So I see myself in a forest, and then I see a man with dark curly hair and darker skin. And I was like, oh, who's that? And he's like shirtless and wearing like a little Tarzan sarong. I'm like, okay, am I just being perved? Why is this half naked man showing up? And I say, what's your name? And he said, Uriel. I was like, okay, Uriel. And his face, it was so embedded in my mind. When I got out of the meditation, I Googled Uriel. And I noticed that Uriel is an archangel. And I was like, what? I was raised Catholic, but Uriel's one of the angels I never heard about. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, basically. So I was like, how did my grandma never teach me about Uriel? What the hell? And another part of me was like, wow, I met an angel. When I was Googling images of Uriel, it looked just like the guy I saw. Maybe more close, but he had dark brown curly hair skin. And I just thought it was so, so cool. And he is the angel of knowledge. So I just have been holding on to Uriel this whole time. I'm like, Uriel, I know you're still with me. Help me out with. I've just been studying and learning more about mediumship and all these different modalities and metaphysics and all that. I truly believe that ever since then, it's really led me into this rabbit hole of knowledge.
That's beautiful. We can talk about it casually because we've had occurrences and interactions.
Yeah.
But if you had held on to, no archangel is going to talk to me, or he's got no clothes, or practically no, whatever the thought might be to discount the experience that you had, it doesn't get much more pure than that. You were not expecting it. It showed up. You went to validate. You're like, oh my goodness, it's the same vision that I got. That's just so perfect for people who don't have the confidence to believe. I hope they take something from that story, is that there are going to be many times along our mediumship and spiritual unfoldment to prove ourselves wrong.
Yeah, two pieces. One, circling back to how I learned about Tony Stockwell. The way I did mediumship back then was not traditional. I did trance mediumship. I would go into these movements and feel spirit and even invite them close to me. And they're like, you really got to look into Tony Stockwell. And that's how I learned about Tony. And then going back to that piece of trusting what's coming through and not giving in to all the fear around spirituality. What the hell is that spiritual awakening fear? That's so stupid. I hate that.
How do you really feel, Claudine?
It just makes me so annoyed because then I hear people saying I'm going through my dark night of my soul. And like, welcome to your 40s and 50s. Everything sucks when your body's not working. Of course, you're going through a dark night of the soul. Or spiritual awakening, being scary or evil or demonic. On your eyes all the time. You just don't realize it.
But also it's the context of it. I hear what you're saying. You also had spiritual experiences from when you were young. So maybe that kept the seed of doubt about some of the very Catholic things that you were taught. But some people can really believe that what they're experiencing or pushing away is evil. It's not for their highest good. There's a lot of ways we can sabotage what could be a spiritual opening or awakening because we feel like something is really wrong now. I have nothing in my environment that tells me it's okay.
And it's funny, we're circling back to beliefs. And I believe in my case, what's helped me be so brave or whatever you want to call it, I was physically abused for 12 years. So I'm like, I'm not scared of ghosts. What are they going to do? Scare me? Good. Give me a good scare. I want one. It keeps me alive and young and excited. Spirit never scared me like a human scares me. So if anything, at night, my dark thoughts are like, did I lock the windows? What if somebody comes in? Do I have anything around me that I can protect myself? Those are thoughts that creep into my mind. Not ghosts or spirits or demons or fairies. Boo. I love scary movies too. So for me, it's very funny and very fun, silly.
I avoid them like the plague because then I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to remember this as I'm trying to fall asleep tonight and it will really make me feel unsettled. I have my own, not like paranoia. Thanks for spending this time with me on Mediumship Sparks. If this episode resonated with you, please like it, subscribe, rate, and certainly share it with somebody else who could benefit. If you're interested in any support I might be able to provide as you navigate your spiritual path, please feel free to check out my offerings at connectingwithnoelle.com and reach out at mediumshipsparkspodcast@gmail.com. Take good care of yourself, and I'll look forward to being with you again soon.